shit. So we got kind of a messy one today.
Oh.
It's actually funny. I shouldn't say funny. A guy died. But what a group of idiots.
This scenario can be a little bit comical because they're just, in some cases, just idiots.
So something else I want to bring up before I forget again is I've been waiting for anybody that watches any of these videos, or listens, to comment, get involved.
Yeah.
You got anything to say?
Yes.
Critiques, ideas, anything?
Yeah, we want some involvement, some engagement, whether it's questions about any of the cases we're covering, or maybe suggestions of cases that somebody wants us to go over.
Yeah,
and research.
They can call me an idiot. I mean, I do that.
Same.
So I mean, that's all right. So, yeah. I would like to see some more engagement with anybody that might actually be listening.
Yeah.
Or watching the whole 4 videos we have on YouTube. I'll try and do better. But so far as this case...
Well, and if they ever reach TikTok too, put your comments in. And I don't know if we have many of those either.
No. Views, but no comments.
Yeah.
So...
Need people to comment.
Say something. Marissa.
For God's sakes.
You get my input.
Yes, I do. Quite regular. But back to the case we're going to be talking about. One thing I do want to point out is law enforcement did a damn good job on this. Both the FBI and the local and state law enforcement. It drug out for a while.
I was going to say it took a while, but
I think they were meticulous. I think they, it probably took a while to get things rolling and to figure out where to look, but they did a damn good job.
Yeah.
So, and we're talking about the Adelsons.
Right. And right now, the matriarch of the family, Donna Adelson, she is in actual trial right now.
Yeah.
She's in court. So that's kind of been my topic of my FYP is all the Adelson case.
FYP.
What did I say?
I don't know. What did you say?
I think that's what you said.
FYP? What's the FYP?
Yeah.
For you page.
For you page?
It's a TikTok thing.
Oh, I thought it was like OnlyFans.
Oh God, no. No, it's basically your feed off of TikTok. So what things that are trending right now, that's what your feed will be loaded with if you're a TikToker.
Ah, okay.
So, pretty much loaded with the Adelson case right now.
I think your phone's ringing.
You're ringing. I'm like, I am hearing a phone ringing. Where is that coming from? Sorry.
It was work,
My
wasn't important.
bad.
It's fine.
No, it's just my daughter.
Ah, yeah, I hope it's not an emergency.
I doubt it.
No. But, so the Adelsons were involved with the murder for hire plot that they actually pulled off. Mm-hmm. And the victim was Dan Merkel. Is that how it's pronounced?
Markle?
Markle?
I think Markle.
Markle. But the murder was in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you kind of want to give any backstory on this?
Yeah, sure, I can.
Okay.
So the victim is Dan Merkel. And Dan he's a professor at Florida State University. He's a lawyer / professor there now. He got married to a gal named Wendi, and they ended up having 2 little boys. And gosh, I don't know how long that they had been married, but I think their little boys were like 2 and 3 or 2 and 4. And things weren't going well in their relationship, so they decided to get a divorce. Wendi, I think she is also a lawyer and also has something to do with the university as well at this time. Is that right?
Yeah, she was contracted with the university, and he was like, is it tenured or
Yeah.
whatever? So, but I think maybe her contract had, I don't know if it expired or it wasn't renewed, maybe. I can't recall. I could be wrong there. But I do know that their type of employment was different.
Sure.
So she wasn't going to be a permanent.
Sure. Well, so in this divorce, they were going through a custody battle. And Wendi wanted to move to South Florida to be closer to her parents and the rest of her family. And Dan said, absolutely not. There's no reason for this. And so they went to court and they were in this custody battle, and Dan, of course, won. And Wendi was not allowed to relocate and move her children down to South Florida. So this ultimately upset her and upset her parents, or in particular her mother, whose name was Donna. Wendi has two brothers, one Robert, who's older. Actually, they're both older, Robert and Charlie. And then her mother's Donna, and her dad is Harvey. And Harvey is a dentist, and Charlie followed in his father's footsteps and became a dentist. And Robert is a ENT physician. And so they're all really pretty well off in the family, good careers for themselves. But as the story goes, Donna, the mom, kind of rules the roost. She makes all the calls in the family, so to speak. So whatever Donna says is what goes. And Donna just did not like the fact that Wendi was not going to be able to move back south to be next to her family. And she was going to make Dan's life miserable.
And I think she already hated Dan.
Oh, yeah, hated Dan. But she had plans and ideas and all of this crap that she was trying to do to Dan to just make his life miserable so that he would eventually give in to Wendi and the family and to let her move the kids to closer to them.
I think she kind of screwed with Dan from the beginning, because if I remember right, when I was watching both some video and reading, that even at their wedding, so they're both Jewish families.
Yes.
And so Dan had requested at the wedding to have a kosher meal.
Mm-hmm.
But her family was in charge of the meal. Mm-hmm. And they intentionally ordered food that was not kosher.
Yeah.
So it's like immediate digs.
Yeah. So even though they were both Jewish families, I guess he was a little bit more strict, so to speak, than they were. Yeah. And so that was really one of his requests. And I think he felt like that was a slap in the face, that they kind of went behind his back and purposely did not get a kosher meal for their family.
Yeah. So I think the animosity between Donna and Dan probably predates even the marriage itself.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Not only are many trying to remove us from our constitutionally limited Judeo-Christian ethos republic, more seem to be forgetting our Judeo-Christian Christitutionalist foundations. Not here at Christitutionalist. We talk about all these things: the past, the present, the future. Biblical community, Judeo-Christian ethos, the whole Bible, biblical community, not worldly communism. And there is a big difference. Join us, Christitutionalists.
I heard in one interview, actually, no, this was a snippet of her book that she wrote. She actually did a voiceover for her book.
Donna wrote a book?
No, Wendi wrote a book.
Oh, okay.
And Wendi said basically that she got married in her early 20s and she was hoping that she would bypass the marital trap that she was in for marrying for money, which basically she admitted she didn't love him. She married him for money and success. So
I mean, that's
so
a reason, I
you
guess.
go right off the bat. She didn't love him. So then, obviously, I'm sure she's telling her mother everything because I think they were all pretty tight initially. And I'm sure then Donna develops this animosity towards him because, Wendi didn't really love him. So why would Donna have to like him?
Sure. And so they, of course, they get divorced. Donna wants Wendi and the kids to move to South Florida. Dan says no. Judge says no. So, at least according to Donna, she got a problem. Mm-hmm. And she's going to fix it.
Yep.
And before we go any farther, and I mentioned this to you earlier, and for anybody that's listening, as we start talking about the people involved and how this thing goes down, and if you're familiar with the TV show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, just imagine that it's those cast of characters that's trying to pull this thing off, especially the brother-in-law Charlie.
Yeah.
Just imagine Charlie as the Charlie off of It's Always Sunny, because that's the first thing I...
Did you see his mugshot?
No.
I also heard him referred to as Bobby Boucher. Do you know who Bobby Boucher is? Off of The Waterboy?
Yes.
His mama always took care of him.
My mama says.
So, so mom's got a problem, and who does she go to? But her youngest boy, I think, which is Charlie.
Charlie.
And Charlie's going to fix it.
Yeah, because I think Donna and Charlie were like little compadres. Like they told each other everything. I think Charlie was probably a little bit of a F up. I mean, he was successful, but I think his personal life was a mess. And I think he made some poor choices.
Oh, he made a lot of poor choices.
Yeah.
A lot of poor choices. So he should have, was he a periodontist?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
something
should
like
have.
that.
He should have just stuck to that. So I don't know. I think he's the one that brought up hiring a hitman.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how did
So it came out as his joke or his whatever, this joke that's Wendi said it was a joke, but said that I bought her a new TV because that was ultimately cheaper than hiring a hitman to kill your husband. And the TV ultimately became a big part of their plot.
Sure. And actually, what they were going to ultimately spend to have this hit done was actually cheaper than an original offer that they had made.
Yeah.
Because they had originally made an offer of $1 million to Dan to allow the children and Wendi to move to South Florida, Miami, which is where they were, where the folks lived, and they lived in Tallahassee.
So, like I said earlier, they were at first trying to make his life miserable. And so they would do things like, so of course he was Jewish. They were going to set up a photo op session of having the kids pictured in front of a Catholic church and saying something about, here's to new beginnings and their baptism into the Catholic Church. And then even have them dress up as in little Nazi uniforms. And then when all of that kind of failed or didn't work, then they offered him $1 million. We'll give you $1 million if you'll just agree to let Wendi move the kids. And he said, no. I'm a good dad. Like, he was a good dad. He was involved in their care. He was involved in their activities. He would, in this divorce proceedings, he would Skype and read bedtime stories to the kids at night before bed. So he was very involved, and he just wasn't going to have it.
No, and he was also successful, and I think he was well liked within the college and by his peers and
Sure.
and everyone else. So just not by the Adelsons.
Nope.
So they devise a plan. The plan is we got to take him out.
Yep.
That's the only way. So, and you know, who wouldn't want to go to the extreme of offing somebody just so your grandkids can move, 6 hours south? I mean, it's a long drive to go visit your grandkids. But I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think it was a power thing. I think it was a power thing by Donna.
Probably.
So,
Excuse me.
so they decided going to take him out, and they, geez, my mind went blank there for a second. Happens a lot. So Charlie's got a girlfriend. I don't know if she was even an ex at that particular time, but so he had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend had an ex-boyfriend, or at least the father of her kids, who was either friends with or a member of the Latin Kings.
Yes.
And so he approached her, and her name was
Katie. Something.
And says, "Hey, you know anybody? Don't you know somebody that could take care of this for me?" Katie says, "Well, I think so." And so she contacts her baby daddy, and he has another friend who I think is actually kind of maybe the head of the Latin Kings. And these two guys, I should have brought my pad and paper because my notes keep going black here.
I don't know who was higher up.
Well,
I think so. Her baby
Luis
daddy was
Sigfredo,
and the friend was Luis. I don't think Luis was as high up, was he?
I thought only one of them was in the Latin Kings.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was her boyfriend. I thought
No.
it was...
It's Louise or Louis or
Luis is the one that rolled.
I'm looking here to see.
Yeah, he's
can
the
find this
Latin
guy's
King, I think.
I don't know.
But there's a reason I think that Louise rolled. He was already in the pen, and I think he was looking for a sweet deal.
Yeah.
But just to go along with how this thing kind of played out, just real quick, was so she contacted her baby daddy. He got with one of his buddies, which is Luis, and they formulated this plan where they were just going to drive from Miami up to Tallahassee and execute him.
So what happened with the story is Dan at 11 o'clock in the morning was shot in his driveway.
In his garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had been to the gym. He had gone to the gym, and this Prius that the two assailants had rented had followed him to the gym and waited for him to come out, and then followed him home and then shot him at his house. I didn't know if it was in his garage or in his driveway, but regardless, his neighbors heard the gunshot, thought it was kind of odd, saw that his car was parked in the driveway and the garage door was up, car was running. The neighbor kind of thought for a few more minutes, well, that's kind of odd, looked again, car's still running, garage door is still open, so he decides to walk over there, and he finds him, calls 911. So that's where the investigation starts. In the meantime, who happens to be driving by or attempting to drive by but Wendi? Now, why would she just happen to be driving by or want to drive by at that very particular time.
Well, according to Wendi, she had to go to the liquor store.
Sure. At 11 a.m.
Yep, yep. Because she was looking for, now, she was looking for a particular liquor. And what was the name of that liquor?
Oh, I don't know.
Bullet.
Oh, Lord. It was some kind of stock the bar party or something.
I don't know.
I don't know. But she had to go to this liquor store. But it happened to be 9 miles out of the way from the shortest route to this liquor store.
Yeah. Yeah, she took, well, yeah, because she was going from, I think it was maybe where she may be living at the time in Tallahassee. And she could have went straight over where this party was, which was only a few miles away. But she went south, I believe it was, way out of the way, miles, like an hour, to a liquor store that was supposedly by Dan's house. And I think that maybe the defense attorney was saying, well, that's a liquor store. You know, she used to live with Dan. It's a liquor store she's familiar with. And so that's why she went down there. But the other issue is I think they were looking at some phone tracking, and what would normally be a 1-hour trip took her 2 hours.
I didn't realize she went that far that morning. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was, well, the
didn't think she
total
went that-
trip would have been a 1-hour trip when she went way south, and then you had to cut over and then come way north. So I think
see.
just that big circle would have taken, I think they said an hour.
Weird.
Yeah, but it took her 2. The defense argued that, well, did you check to see if there was construction? But it is weird that the morning that Dan is killed, that she happens to drive by.
Yeah.
Because she was supposed to pick up the kids later that day, but like at 4:30 in the afternoon. And this is at like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So the plan is for Wendi to have an alibi that morning. Now, mind you, Donna, let's back up a little bit. We have convictions of Luis, Alfredo. No, not Alfredo. What's his name?
Let me look at my notes here. Sigfredo.
Sigfredo Garcia.
Not Alfredo.
Not Alfredo. I know Alfredo.
Not the creamy cheese sauce.
No.
And Katie. So those 3 are convicted, as well as Charlie.
Yeah. And so Luis was convicted in 2016. Sigfredo and Katie were convicted in 2019. And Charlie was convicted in 23. And the murder was in 2014.
Sure.
So it's almost like dominoes. There's, and you know, really, if you look at it, they're knocking them off in order, kind of from the least. I say least, but the 2 that actually pulled the trigger. So the farthest down the line from the head of the plan, that's kind of seems to be the order they're going in. So they knock off the 2 hitmen.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, Jesus.
Well, and how they found them was the neighbor had given a description of the vehicle. And then had also, they had passed a bus, if I heard that right, and some passengers in the bus recognized a toll ticket in the windshield of this car. And so the detectives went in and looked at like the toll tickets that would have gone through at that particular time. And then they started searching registrations for this type of vehicle, and then also the rentals. And so then they found that the car was rented by one of them. I don't remember which one.
And they had some pictures,
And
too.
then that's how they ultimately found these guys. And these guys actually, and I might be jumping ahead of myself, but this was actually their second round of the same car rental and the same route.
Same route. Now, I think initially, the first car they rented was it was a different kind of car. It wasn't a Prius. So they were trying to actually disguise possibly the car that they were driving to be somebody else's car, and that other person's car is Wendy's boyfriend.
That's why it's key, and that's why the attempt was made a month prior, is because Wendi had, in the midst of this divorce, Wendi had started dating this guy named Jeff. And it really ultimately wasn't a great relationship. Jeff, the way he describes it, really thought Wendi was pretty deceitful and was pretty, I don't want to say boisterous, but she elaborated a lot on details to the point where he could tell she was lying about stuff, like petty stuff, and being really, I don't know how you would describe it. Like, she would tell tall tales, and he just didn't like that character in her. And so he kind of felt like things weren't really working out. And then Wendi would kind of string him along and break up with him and then get back together with him, break up with him, and has done that a few times. But Wendy's idea was to peg it on this guy. And he had plans to be out of town in June and then again in July, which happened to coincide with the exact same dates and times that they had rented the vehicle and made this trip.
Sure.
So.
And they rented a vehicle that looked like Jeff's.
His, right.
The first time it was a lot closer to what his vehicle would look like.
I think did he have a Toyota Corolla or something like that?
It was something
and
then
then they ended up with a Prius or something like that.
And she had, of course, she always talked pretty poorly of Dan.
Yes.
And so Jeff got to a point where he really didn't like Dan.
You're right.
So I think he'd even made comments like he'd like to kick Dan's ass.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you're right. She's setting it up to make it look like, Jeff really has it out for Dan. He's pissed at Dan because Dan's being such a dick, involving the kids and everything and not letting him move. And trying to set it up to where maybe Jeff has motive.
Yep.
But they fucked up. Because
in a lot of ways, yeah.
In round 2, when they actually went up and pulled the trigger, Jeff left a day early. So he wasn't even in town.
Yeah, and so we have to talk about how they knew he was going to be out of town. So it was in one of these sessions where they kind of had been going back and forth in their relationship, whether they were going to proceed with the relationship or not. Jeff would always bring up the fact that, okay, Dan's making your life miserable. What ultimately are you going to do? And Wendi said, well, the only way I could ever move is if something ever happened to Dan. And then she said, and, can I tell you something in confidence? My brother, he said he would do whatever he had to make it possible. Like, he even looked into hiring a hitman. But the backstory is what I said before, is that her colleagues that she worked with, Wendi had this reputation of telling these really astronomical stories for, like, shock effect. And a lot of the times they would be lies, like just these big, tall tales. And to see what a kind of a reaction her colleagues would get. And so I think maybe that was her MO, was to have this personality so that when she did tell the truth, people wouldn't really know if it was a joke or not, because she's kind of used to telling these wild tales, which it set it up for her perfectly, because then ultimately when she tells a nugget of truth like that, he didn't quite know if she was joking or not. So anyway, it was setting up this perfect scenario. But the day that kind of it sealed the deal for her. Her plan was, they had emailed back and forth, and he had said, okay, what's going on with our relationship? And she said, okay, let's just meet in person. Let's talk about it in person. Come meet me. Let's go to yoga. Let's meet at this yoga parlor. Okay, so he agrees, and he goes, and he's like, I don't know why she wanted us to meet at a yoga parlor, because number one, I don't even like yoga. Number two, when you're in a yoga session, you can't talk. They want you quiet. So it's not like we could talk during this hour yoga session anyway. He said it was just weird from the get-go. Yoga got over, and she barely said anything to me. It was like, okay, well, I guess you know what? Let's just stay away from each other for a while. Let's just go no contact, and let's just see how things go. Let's just don't contact me for at least a week. And he's like, okay, whatever. And thought, this is the weirdest freaking interaction ever. He walks away, and then she calls him back and says, hey, wait a minute. Come, wait a minute. Come here. So, are you still going away on your business trip this week? Well, yeah, I'm leaving. Well, when are you leaving? Oh, Friday. Oh, okay. Well, what route are you taking? Like, which way are you going? Well, I don't know. I'm going such and such way. And where are you staying? And how long are you going to be gone? Like, all of these very detailed, specific questions about his trip. And he said, I thought it was very odd. He goes, because I thought, maybe she was asking me because she wanted to spend time with me. Like, she was asking me when I was leaving, says she wanted to spend some time with me before I left. How long was I going to be gone? Let's get together afterwards. None of that was said. It was all specifics about his trip. Well, she had to get the details right so that she could plan the hit for these guys to go and make it happen.
And she's the only one that has the details on where Jeff's going to be.
Yep.
And where Dan's going to be.
Yep.
So, and just to clarify, she hasn't been indicted.
No. And in fact, she's got somewhat kind of an immunity deal. Do you know what that's about?
Yep. So she has what's called use immunity, and that's for her testimony in Donna's trial that's going on right now. And there's a couple different types of immunity. So there's use immunity, and then there's transactional immunity. So use immunity just says that if she were to be indicted at her trial, anything that she says during her testimony in Donna's trial cannot be used against her. She can still be indicted, and she can still go to prison because she doesn't have what's called transactional. Transactional immunity would mean that no matter what happens, we can't come after you. We can't indict you. You can't basically get in trouble for what's happened, even if you were involved.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that whole scenario, what that was all about.
So I think it's it's kind of a partial immunity, so far as she can still be indicted, and she can still be probably easily convicted.
Which makes me laugh, because the clip that I saw, she sat up on that stand and she thought she was untouchable.
Well, because she knows that everything that she says can't be used against her if she were to have to go to trial. However, they can still use everything that everybody else says.
She did. She acted a little smug too. Also she's a lawyer, so she knows how to answer the questions. But yeah,
But just because she's a lawyer doesn't mean she's a good one.
It's true.
So I probably wouldn't be hiring her. But and so I think, and actually she is a lawyer, but I think that her main type of practice is not criminal. I think it's some other type of law. Gotcha. And I think that's where a lot of people get confused with attorneys, is there's attorneys that might specialize in criminal defense. There's some that might maybe specialize in property type things or wills, or
I suppose it's like doctors.
Yeah.
You got podiatry and gynecology, so I don't really want a podiatrist delivering my baby.
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah, you wouldn't want
Yeah.
your dentist doing a pap smear. Yeah. I don't know, maybe you would. Depends on what he looks like. Yeah, Marissa's smiling. I think that she kind of likes her dentist.
Open wide.
I wasn't listening to your conversation. I was reading, so sure, okay.
Anyways,
Forget I said that. Okay.
so where were we? Oh, so anyways, so that's the type of immunity she would have. I think it's kind of a worthless immunity, to be honest, because they really don't need her testimony itself, what she says, because I think that kind of how I see it, they did Louise first, Sigfredo, Catherine, Charlie, now Donna, and I think as they're going down the line, they're also building their case and making it stronger and stronger and stronger. They're kind of this big domino effect, but they're also gaining information as they go because everybody's rolling on everybody.
Yeah, and okay, so if I'm saying this right, how Charlie got convicted and tied him to the suspects or who killed him had to do with his money transactions.
Yeah.
It's in his phone records.
Yeah.
But the money transactions was another weird situation that he gave them like Charlie had this habit of stapling his cash bundles together, like stapling them. So he would take $100 bills, put them in piles of 10, so $1,000 each, and then staple them. And that's how he kept his money around. And evidently, in their dentistry practice, they had a lot of cash revenue. They would offer discounts to any patient that would pay in cash. And so evidently they had a lot of cash laying around that office.
He knows they still sell paper clips, right?
I don't know.
And rubber bands.
Oh,
So the
gosh.
other funny thing about the money is, so they laundered it. However, it's not laundered the way you think it would be laundered. Typically, when you launder money, you run it through a legitimate business, basically
Like
to
Dollar
wash it.
General.
Yes, but they ran theirs through an actual washing machine.
Yeah.
So when they were making their payoff to the hitmen, the money was wet and moldy. So I don't know. Maybe they were trying to wash off any fingerprints or DNA
probably,
that we linked back to them.
Oh,
But
it's just comical, though, when you think about they literally laundered it.
yes,
And gave it to them wet.
which is why I brought up earlier the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because I could just picture Charlie in that show when they
Needing
asked
to
him about,
launder money.
yes, him throwing it in the washing machine.
Yeah,
Put
taking
some
it to the
Downy.
laundromat.
Why didn't they dry it?
Maybe
You
they
think
ran
it
out
was-
of quarters.
I could be.
The other way that they pegged, well, this is how they're trying to get Donna, is that she was actually writing checks to Katie out of the payroll from the dentist office.
Yeah, and she actually never went to she did as a patient, but she never actually showed up as an employee.
Yeah. And so they did a sequester of their books and their payroll and their W-2s and all that information that you would get off of somebody that you had employed and that you had on the payroll, and there was no evidence of her anywhere.
And I think they talked to other employees at the dentist office as well,
Right.
or the periodontist or whatever it actually is. But
Yeah.
and the lady that does the book said that that she knew about.
Well, Donna did the books. It was the
I guess
lady
that-
at the front desk.
Sure. And she's the one that mentioned it. Well, Katie never actually came here to work. She came here as a patient, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Ultimately they're trying to now, they tied Charlie, now they're trying to tie Donna to it. And they're getting her through emails and through the checks, phone calls. And the phone calls had a lot of coding. They used code words. And like I said, the TV was a big one. Because ultimately, Wendy's alibi was back to this TV. Charlie had purchased a TV for her as a divorce gift, I guess. Somehow this TV got broken. And she had to call Jeff over there, the boyfriend, to see that the TV was broken. Because she needed somebody to verify that the TV was broken. Because what ultimately they were going to do is call for an appointment for the Geek Squad to come and repair the television during the time that Dan was being murdered. And that was going to be Wendy's alibi.
And a funny thing about this TV, and this is just something I heard, and I don't know if it's 100% true, but I believe it is true anyway, that she couldn't get into the TV, into the settings, because it used her mom's email. So the TV was already pre-programmed with her mom's email, which they thought was weird because if it's new.
No. So how the email got involved was it was the whole Geek Squad appointment. Because it ultimately came through this email from Donna to Wendi that said, hey, your Geek Squad appointment is at 11 a.m. on July 18th. If you need to change this appointment and can't make it work for you, then you need to call this number. And they asked Wendi, well, why didn't the Geek Squad just get a hold of you? And they said, well, it was because my mom set it up and had her email attached to the TV because she was ultimately the one that purchased it. They had gotten into the TV because the boyfriend had been over there to the house, and Wendi made them watch a movie on this cracked TV. So the TV was broken, it was cracked, and it looked like it was purposely cracked, like somebody had took a hammer to it, basically. The screen was cracked, pixelated. You couldn't see a picture. It was pretty much useless. But Wendi insisted when Jeff came over that they watched a movie on this broken TV. And he said during his testimony that was weird because there was a perfectly good TV in the bedroom. Why couldn't we watch a movie on this other TV or switch out the TVs? But no, we had to watch this movie on this broken, pixelated television. I mean, I think it was all the setup that Jeff paid attention to this TV so that he could say, oh, yeah, the TV was broken. So that's why she had this appointment with the Geek Squad. Bizarre. Like, I mean, granted, they went through a lot of steps to have her alibi stick, but yet in the long run,
It was terrible.
She screwed up because then she drove by the house. And Charlie said that in a phone call from his jail cell to his mother that said, she couldn't freaking stay away, could she? She just had to put her nose in. She had to drive by. Why the hell couldn't she stay away?
Well, and Charlie wasn't no better either because that idiot, after they had already gotten Louise and they've gotten Sigfredo, and I think while they were maybe going, I think they were still looking at Catherine and they were looking at Charlie. They hadn't busted him yet. The FBI went undercover and they posed as Latin King members. And when they approached, I think they actually approached Donna. And they said that, hey, one of our buddies is in jail because of this whole deal, and you're going to basically pay us to shut up. So then Donna is talking to Charlie.
Yeah, they said we know you're taking care of Katie, and we know you're taking care of Sigfredo. Anyway, and you're not taking care of Luis, and you better take care of my buddy, because that's the right thing to do. And we know where you live, acting, as if they're part of his clan.
Sure.
Whatever.
But then as Charlie and Donna are talking back and forth, Charlie had even mentioned that, they suspected that maybe these were cops. The other funny thing that they noticed is when Charlie and Donna would talk, they would never actually say Dan's name. Even though that the FBI agent, when he was doing I think they kept calling it a bump, handed him a piece of paper with Dan's picture on it. I think it was an article and a phone number. So they knew damn well what he was talking about, but they still wouldn't use the name Dan. They wouldn't say Dan. In their conversations, they mentioned how they thought, gosh, maybe it was law enforcement or police or FBI. But, and they mentioned that they didn't want to talk maybe in a certain place because they were worried about it being bugged, yet their phones were bugged. So you would think, if you're so worried about it being the FBI or law enforcement, that you would, I don't know, go somewhere and meet I don't know. But the whole thing is just dumb.
I think after that incident, after he approached Donna, I think she did. First thing she did was call Charlie and said, "Hey, we need to meet and talk. It's about the TV. I think it's going to cost like $5,000." So here goes the TV scenario again. Yeah. So the other thing that they were really stupid on that they had gotten on a recording was, again, Charlie in his jail cell talking to Donna. And Charlie mentions, well, if I were you, I would probably go to a country that had that it didn't expedite back to the United States.
Extradition.
Extradition, yeah.
Extradite. Yep.
Sorry, I said the word wrong. Extradite, yes.
And so they found Vietnam.
Yes. Because that's the first country I'd want to go to.
Yes. So, and actually when they picked up Donna, she was getting ready to board a plane to head to Vietnam. She had one-way tickets. They had sold their silverware and plates and shit like that. They set up a trust fund.
Yeah. So, so they hear this on this recording. They're like, well, we better check into that. Looked into tickets purchased, and lo and behold,
she's getting out of here.
And, okay, here I'm going to use the right word in the right context. They expedited the passports.
Yes.
Emergency passports, so that they could go to Vietnam.
Yeah, because everybody's in a hurry to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, you might miss the fare. Oh, my God.
Yep, so that's how Donna gets arrested, is in the airport, headed to Vietnam. And mind you, this is 11 years later. She looks old as shit now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and you kind of want to feel sorry for her because she's not a spring chicken.
I don't feel sorry for her.
But, man.
And I don't think that she's going to be the last. So she's in court now. I've heard talk that maybe her husband, and her husband's name is
Harvey.
He might be next. I don't know what his involvement might be, just knowledge of what was going on. Because I think Katie was actually driving after the murder took place, all of a sudden, his car.
Yeah. She had his Lexus. Driving his Lexus.
Yeah, and she had been receiving payments.
But they thought, well, we think that maybe she purchased that for like $1,400 way back when. But couldn't find any receipts or any.
No, and Charlie had paid for one of her boobs to get enlarged because he only paid for half the surgery. That's what Charlie said. He only paid for one of them.
Well, okay, so Donna, you have to go, remember that she's very manipulative and she's very controlling. And so she, in a couple ways, I think this is funny, is that she's trying to show her control in the courtroom by demanding headphones because she claims she can't hear. And she wants a fair trial and she wants to be able to hear everything. However, there's a picture of her with her headphones on inside out. Like, okay,
That'll
lady.
do the job.
So she's like Frank. She's Frank off of It's Always Sunny. Then there's Charlie, who's Charlie. Go ahead.
Well, they don't. I think the only time I ever heard Harvey's name was just that he's the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that
So
he had anything.
does he really know, or is Donna just like,
I think she's
oh,
in
you don't
total
worry
control.
about it? Yeah, it's.
I think he was a dentist and he made the money and he was like oblivious to what was going on. I don't know.
I think he knew. It's about like when you watch the, what was the documentary you watched on the gal that was just completely full of shit and she faked her own.
Papini.
Her parents,
Yeah.
the mom and dad there.
Yeah, he knew, but he just didn't say anything.
Yeah, he's
He
just
was
like, yeah, whatever.
okay.
I'm not going to argue with her.
Yeah. Well, Donna's also trying to manipulate her cellmate. Did you hear that one?
Oh, yeah. I think, wasn't she going to like,
She
was offering him money and
she offered her
property and
cellmate.
drugs.
Yeah, she offered her cellmate, who ended up being this informant. But she offered her money, an apartment, veneers, of course.
Well, duh. Got to have a pretty mouth.
And
there
she
in
gave
prison.
she gave her the script because how this was going to work is her cellmate had actually been incarcerated at the same time as Katie and was maybe acquaintances with Katie or an actual cellmate of Katie's. I don't know, but knew Katie. They were incarcerated at the same time. So Donna came up with this scenario that she was going to have this cellmate read the script and say it was all Katie. It was all Katie and Charlie. That Donna had nothing to do with it. Like she was gonna throw Charlie under the bus even more and say it was all Charlie, and Charlie had set it up with this Katie and yada yada yada, and Katie confessed to me that
Yeah, because Charlie.
Donna didn't have anything. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, Charlie's defense is that he was being extorted, which
Yeah.
didn't work for him.
No.
And so how that worked is the defense alleged that the two hitmen knew that Charlie and his mom and the wife, I can't think of her name now, Wendi, were all going to chip in on this $1 million to Dan to allow her and the kids to move.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were going to go over and kill Dan, the hitman, and then approach Charlie and Donna and whoever else, the family, and say, hey, if you don't pay us the money, then we're going to pin it on you.
Right.
That was the defense. Didn't work out.
No.
Kind of shot that full of holes.
Yeah, and now this whole family's just kind of rolling on each other.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of it has to do with is Charlie talks too much.
Yeah.
And they've brought that up. Like they've listened to entire hour-long phone calls, and they say basically he's the only one that talks. And there's other people that say that that's Charlie's problem is he talks too much. Mm-hmm. Like you sit down to have a conversation with him, but it's kind of one-sided. He does all the talking and just never shuts up.
Yeah.
So if you're going to plan a murder, don't plan it with somebody that doesn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I at this point, supposedly Wendi hasn't talked to Donna, her mother, for years now. But I clearly think that Donna, if not her lawyer, or they're saying, hey, you need to look at Wendi. You know, they're trying to save her own butt, and I think they're now trying to pin it on Wendi.
Yeah, well, everybody's rolling on everybody. I think everybody's ultimately going to go down.
Yeah.
I think Wendy's ultimately. I think they're probably going to go after Dad, maybe as because he had knowledge and didn't say anything, maybe as like a co-conspirator or something like that. But I think they'll ultimately come after Wendi for the same thing they're coming after Donna for, which is the murder itself and the conspiracy. And
Yeah. I don't think this will take very long. They actually ultimately estimated this case to only take a week or two and be done, start to finish.
yeah,
Because they had been through it so many times already. This is the 5th time they've been through the evidence.
prosecution's already arrested, I believe.
Yeah.
So defense will actually...
Their case, this trial just started on August 19th, if I remember right.
Yeah, it hasn't been going on very long.
Yeah.
And so the defense will start this week, which by the time that this airs will be last week. And so this will be over pretty quick.
Yep.
And so, well, Charlie, he was in 2023.
So yeah, his start of Charlie's trial was October 23rd, 2023. And then on November 6th, after 3 hours of deliberation, a jury found him guilty. So not long.
So I think it's just a matter of time before they'll be arresting Wendi, which I hope they do. Okay. So the whole point of this, of murdering Dan, was so that she could relocate her kids. And that's exactly what she did. Literally 48 hours after he was murdered, she was packing her stuff and moving. And she moved. She gets on this...
She was scared.
Oh,
Her family was in danger.
so scared. She then gets on this podcast for creative writing, and that's how this book develops. And she writes this book that's supposedly this nonfiction creative writing book, but it's basically a biography, an autobiography. She starts telling this story of, there was this lawyer, these lawyers that were married and they had 2 kids and they ultimately got a divorce, and then she's telling her story, but it says it's a fiction book. It's the oddest thing ever, but she tells it so monotone. I don't want to say monotone, but just cold. Like there's
nonchalant.
Nonchalant, no emotion behind it. It's just really odd.
You know, one other funny detail that I forgot about, and I know this isn't, well, we never do anything in order anyway. We're kind of all over the place. But so when these hitmen, these killers, are going to go up and they're going to kill Dan, they accidentally shot a hole in the floorboard of the car.
I heard that too.
And shot a hole through the fuel line.
Yeah.
So they had to stop and fix their fuel line before they could keep going. Now,
They're professionals.
if I was hiring some hitman and the first thing they did was shot a hole through the floorboard, I'd be like,
And they got a traffic violation ticket.
It's like, oh,
They got a ticket and they shot a hole through the floorboard. I mean, you can't make this shit up.
oh, God. Oh, don't hire the Latin Kings. That's all I got to say.
Oh. Anyway, this was kind of a fun one to go through because there's just so many details in it.
There's so many people involved, and they're just so
this is a good
stupid.
one. Yeah.
The whole thing's just, I mean, I'm not saying that other crime is smart, but these guys are just dumb.
Yeah.
There are too many moving pieces is what it amounts to.
Yeah.
Too many people involved, too many moving pieces, at least one individual with a big fucking mouth and can't shut up.
The key was, I think, Jeff and Jeff's testimony, and also the older brother. He kind of put a dent in their trial too, because he said Wendi was acting weird. Like she sent a selfie or picture of her and this boyfriend to the older brother. And she's like, he said, we hardly ever even talk. Why is she sending me a picture of him and her boyfriend? And then she also mentioned to some coworker that she was in this relationship with this guy. And it was ultimately to set him up. And he foiled the plan by leaving a day early.
I think something else that happened is Dan's brother, I don't know if he was on a blog or also a podcast or talking to a news agency or something, and somebody threatened him online. And so that was another thing that kind of got the law enforcement's attention and kind of directed them, I think, on the initial path, maybe even towards Louise, who was the first one to get busted. So, I don't know. And Luis was already in jail anyway on other federal crimes relating to the Latin Kings.
There you go.
Yeah. That's all we know so far. It'll be interesting. I kind of hope this turns into a documentary or some sort of a miniseries movie.
Oh,
or
it
something.
has
Well,
to.
there was something
because
on 2020.
It's so
They had a
far-fetched.
2020 episode on it.
Is it called It's
I'm
It's
trying to
Always
find-
Sunny in Tallahassee?
It probably was.
Oh, this is a true,
Yeah.
just comical.
I do feel bad
Scenario.
for, of course, Dan's family. You know,
Yeah.
him being dead isn't a funny thing. It's just the circumstances or just how it went down. Just so dumb.
Yeah.
Comical, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a Scooby-Doo episode.
It could be. I'm not even going to try and do it, boys.
No.
Marissa, what are you reading over there?
Trying to find where it talked about the 2020 episode.
When did that come out? I'm guessing they would have plenty of details, at least enough to come out with some sort of a little documentary or a 2020 or a
Just in
Dateline.
2016, I think it was just Dan Markle's murder. The suspects in the Adelson family, all subjects to an episode of ABC's 2020.
I'll have to look it up and watch it.
Well, 2016 is when Luis, I think, was convicted. And then, of course, in 2019 was Katie and Sigfredo.
Yeah, see, and I never really heard about the case, even when Charlie was being prosecuted. I really didn't until this Donna came about, and I'm like, what is this all about? And got into looking into it, and I thought, oh, this is a heck of a story. We gotta cover this one.
Yeah, just because all the people, pieces,
Yep.
money laundering. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I ain't got nothing else.
Nope.
You got
Me
anything
neither.
else?
Nope.
Well, I guess that's it.
Goodbye from our new set.
Later.
Bye.
Back, let you wanna talk.